G'day all, just going to run through the troops that we'll be using in tonight's battle. So that's the French army, that's the British army. They're both 1010 points. It's the British cavalry that eats up all the points, a big unit of heavy dragoons, so they better perform well. Okay, so I'll run through what we've got on the French side. We've got a brigadier, and he's taken the special rule kill them all, which gives +1 to hit in combat. We've got a medium gun, a troop of lancers, a troop of chasseurs, a veteran unit of old guard, and they've got bayonet drill, a unit of French line, regular unit of Swiss, they've got bayonet drill, and a unit of Polish, and they've got bayonet drill. That's the French part. Then we've got a medium gun, foot gun for the British, a howitzer. We've got 3 units of the British line infantry. So the first one is the King's German Legion. They've got bayonet drill, which gives them +1 to hit in combat, and volley fire, so an extra shot per base. The second unit is the South Essex, East Essex, whatever. Can't remember, I'll look it out later. And they've got volley fire. Then we've got the Sherwood Foresters, and they've got volley fire. We have a general for the British instead of a brigadier, and he's got special orders withdraw, which means a unit can withdraw 1 move back from combat, and the other special order he's got is wait for it, which gives a unit +1 to hit. And then we've got a unit of heavy dragoons who've got the independent special rule, and they are impetuous, so they must always follow up when they charge. I forgot to mention that the French light cavalry both have the independent special rule as well. That's why I've only got 1 general per army. Can I get them all in? There we go. Barely. So yeah, that's tonight's forces. 1010 points, both sides. A few different things to try out, so you can see how it all works. So next up, turn 1. So we're all set up for the first turn. I'll just run across the deployment. We've got a line infantry there, guns there, commander there. Basically that's a deployment on that side. And I'll spin around this way. That's Ty, by the way, who's playing with me today, so in charge of British. He's got some light cavalry, a large column in there. Them 2 units have joined together to become 1 big column. We've got a unit of French there protecting that gun, and the guard out on the flank. They're going to try and come over and take out the British guns, probably. So what we're going to do now, grab a couple of dice, Ty. We're going to roll for our... This is why we've got Necron pylons on the table, if anyone was wondering. We're going to roll for our primary objectives. So my primary objective in this game is objective number 2. Great, which is that one all the way over there. That's my primary. I get 3 victory points if I hold that at the end of the game.
It's a nice start for you.
Yeah, so hopefully you won't get 2. 1. Try and locate 1. Is it the wood? No. It's got to be that one.
This one.
Oh, it's one right in the centre. So, and then we get 2 secondary objectives. And I have 6, which is that one, and 3. Oh, so I've got 1. Nice, thank God for that. And your 2? 1 and 2. So your secondary, you have to re-roll the 1.
All right.
4. So you've got 1 as well. 2, which is my primary, so there might be a lot of fighting going on over this flank. So what we're going to do now is we're going to establish who goes first and generate some orders, and I will get back to you very shortly. Okay, so the French are going first, and as ever, being a numpty, I forgot to put it on camera. So how it works is I go, Ty goes, and I pick a unit or a brigade from my army, and they get to do an action. So I gave orders for my gun to open fire. By the way, we did a preliminary bombardment and nothing happened. So my guns, I'm going to try and hit the cavalry. I need a 6. So they've missed. So now it's Ty, it's your turn, mate. So choose a unit or a brigade.
So I choose the
howitzer. So it's got a leadership of 8. It's independent, so it can use its own leadership, so 8 or less.
And I'll fire it into...
Hopefully you'll roll a double 6 and it'll blow up or
there.
something. Firing into the guard. So see if you can do it. Yeah, 5, that's no drama.
5,
So can you hit them? You need a 6.
6, mate. Oh.
Unlucky Chucky. Right, so now it's my turn. And I will choose to activate this unit of light cavalry here. Again, they've got the independent special rules, so they can use their own unit leadership rather than generals. And they need an 8 or less. And what I'm going to do with them is I'm going to reform and snake up through this wood to get within 6 inches of that objective, which is my secondary. 8. That's close. So reform takes 1 action. And then they can move 9. So I'm going to do that off camera and we'll move on to Ty's. Ty, so what are you going to do, mate?
I'm going to action these to move.
The whole brigade or just that unit?
The whole brigade.
Okay.
And then put his order on them for the +1 to hit and shoot.
Yep, cool.
Yep. And for the second action, take aim.
Yep.
And then for the third action, to shoot.
Cool. So that's 3 action duties.
And they can choose separate units.
Yeah, they don't have to shoot the same unit, mate. Yeah. So you need to test first to make sure anybody's doing anything.
And they're movement 5, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So their leadership 8, but your general's leadership 9. So as long as you roll 9 or under.
What range is that for the general?
That'll be -1 if he's more than 12 away from that part of the unit.
It will be. Yeah.
So yeah, you're going to be at 8%. And because that's part of the brigade, they're all testing at 8.
Right.
Yeah, they're fine.
Yep.
So yeah, move 5. We'll come back to you after the movement. Okay, so Ty's moved his entire brigade forward, and they've used 1 action to move, and they're going to use 2 shooting actions. So the first one is to take aim, and the second one is to fire. So I'll leave them empty at the end of this turn, but they can always reload again next turn. And he's given the +1 to hit to which unit?
To this unit.
To that unit there. So normally, because they're at long range, they'd be hitting on 6s. You've took aim, so we're hitting on 5, sorry, and +1 to hit 4s against my poor little cavalry. What they haven't done to you. So 4s to hit, mate.
24 shots.
24 shots, get 3 shots of base and +1 to the British. So how many hits you got? I might as well just re-roll your hits for saves.
2, 3, 4, 5. Not many. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Not many,
11,
it says.
12.
Exactly average.
Perfectly average.
So my light cavalry have got a save of 4+. Yeah, the reason I use saves, just in case anyone's wondering, because obviously nobody wore armour, or not many people wore armour in the Napoleonic era. It's just a choice. You could have it as a roll to wound instead, but I just decided to have it as a save. So I've done remarkably well there. But I have took 4 wounds, and I believe there's only 4 wounds to a base. So I've lost the base.
Good saves.
We'll not turn that one off because that would be the colours. So we need to do a save. Sorry, a resolve check. Because I've lost a full base from shooting, they have to take a resolve check, and it's -1 resolve, and they are 8, so I need a 7, although my brigadier is here. But he's saying leadership anyway. So I need 7 or less, or they are going to become disordered.
Perfect.
Baby, that's what I'm talking about. So right, we took our first casualties. And now it's my turn.
No.
And so I've got to decide what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to, seeing as that brigade has done everything it's going to do, I'm going to try and... Oh, sorry, you still got more shooting
Still got
to
more
do.
shooting, yeah.
Okay, that was me attempting to
Yeah.
get away from some shooting. So we're going to do the rest of this shooting off camera, and then I'll get back to you when it's my go. Ty's just fired his second unit, the Sherwood Foresters. Fired at these guys here. They caused me 7 wounds, so I've got 7 saves and 5+. I'm just doing it on camera because what I've done here is I've turned this into one giant column. So I didn't even have to do this on camera because I can't possibly fail. But anyway, I've done it now. So 5s. That's some good saving, but I still lost 4. So that's a base destroyed. I'm going to take the Swiss off. But because these are one big column, they can take twice as much punishment as a normal line unit or a normal single unit. But also, because these are French in column, they can ignore the first panic test anyway. But that would not have caused one because they'd have had to lose 2 bases for that to happen. So it's just a little bit of the rules. And now we will carry on with his next unit shooting. Okay, so it's my turn to do something. Now, I know Ty has only got his cavalry left. So I'm going to hang fire with my large brigade away. And I'm just going to order these cavalry to stay where they are. What do I have to give them an order for that? In fact, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to order them to head round that way because my primary is all the way over there. So I need to try and get some troops heading that way. So they're going to get an order to reform and then move. What have I got?
9.
Bugger. So they've failed by 1. But the problem is, if I do, they still have to do 1 action because they've only failed by 1. But if I put them into column like that, I'll still reform them. I just won't put them into march column. Oh, mind you, then you'll get enflading fire into my rear. I don't really want that. What to do? Okay, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use unit reroll and try and roll lower than a 5.
You can't do that.
Yeah, right, brilliant. So now they can move, and I'm not going to ponce about showing you movement on camera. So I'm going to move them around there. See what Ty's going to do with. So you're going to activate your cavalry.
Yes.
To reform and move around to take my objective. You need 8 or less.
I rolled a 4.
Okay. Well done, mate.
Thank you, mate.
Outstanding. I'm so pleased.
Only one of us has failed a leadership test so far.
Yeah, you are. Thanks. So yeah, you can reform. That costs 1.
So they're going to move. So it's going to be like that.
Okay.
Will they be able to get around there?
Yeah, they can move 7. So if you all your measurements, remember, Ty, from your command stand.
Oh yes.
So he'll just turn around and then measure 7 from him, and that's how far they'll get. They can.
From him.
Yeah. While they're moving, they can only do. While they're in that formation, they can only do 1 turn, 45-degree turn.
There.
So that will take them to there. But next turn, they'll be able to do 2 moves if they don't fail their orders.
Hopefully not. And do these have got a reroll once per game?
They've
Reroll?
got their own built-in reroll, yeah.
Is that once per
Each
game?
unit has 1 reroll per game, and as I say, your general's got 2 in case he needs any more. And your general is better than my general. Your general's a general, and mine's a brigadier.
Typical British.
Yeah, well, maybe the same. Right, so I've just got my brigade to move. I'm going to do this off camera so I can actually do it. And then we'll have a roll off to see who goes first next turn. And hopefully it'll be me and the game will be over on turn 2. Thank you very much. Okay, so I was really fluky. So even though these are at -1, I managed to get their order off. And these are veterans, so they can do 4 actions. So what I've decided to do with these is move them forward twice, and they're taking aim and firing at the King's German Legion. And then these boys managed to run off the hill. They're still a bit too far to charge, but hopefully next turn, or the British will be stupid and charge me. I'm only saying that to put a tie off. Oh, I forgot to move the general. So I was going to move him that way, but I'm actually going to move him up behind these because I don't want them failing orders now. So we did do a bit of shooting. So these guys are 6s at long range, but we were within 12, so it's 5s, and they took aim, so it's 4s.
Yeah.
So I got how many?
3.
Wow,
3.
big deal. So there you go, mate. 3 saves, 5 plus.
5, mate. Oh,
So
no.
one guy. Oh, so wound marker. Right?
1 down to 1.
1 down to 1. Red dice for wound markers, mate. Just me being awkward. Is it worth firing? It's always worth firing, isn't it?
Of course it is.
So 1, 2, 3. I need 6 more dice because they're both firing at the same target. So these are all going to fire at them boys.
Yeah.
Do us a favour and measure to see if I'm not within 12, am I? From my command stands, mate, from this one.
That one probably is within 12. Yeah.
And that one.
This one is within 12.
Right, so they can't take aim because they're regular troops, so they can only do 1 shooting action, so it's just going to be
5s.
5s, yeah. Ooh, that's some good shooting.
That is a nice roll.
We could cause...
Stop rolling hot, Leon.
Can't help it, mate. I'm just cheap. There you go, mate. 6 saves. Of 5 plus. Hopefully you'll fail 4 and you'll need a test.
No, it's not
You do
statistics.
it, you pass them.
Come on. Oh, not bad.
3, 1 down to 1 wound. I've still got these to shoot, but I'll do that off camera. And then we'll come to you for the all-important see who's going first next turn.
Oh, no.
It's okay. So, we did the all-important roll-off, which I forgot to put on camera.
Leon got an Australian 6.
I got an upside-down 6. So, Ty's going to get to go first. Hopefully he'll just fail his order. I mean, hopefully he'll pass his orders and it'll all go wonderfully. He's going to quickly decide what he's going to do. I'm going to quickly take some stills while he's doing it, and then we'll get back to you with a summary of this turn. So what Ty has decided to do is he's going to try and activate his brigade. Is that right?
Yes.
And what are you going to do with these?
They are going to move forward.
Yep.
In the front. Will that be 2 move actions? 1 move action.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 move action.
So you can move up 5.
Yes. Shoot them.
Shoot them.
Then charge.
And sacrifice a second shooting.
Second shooting.
Okay.
These are going to do the same in the flank.
Move twice, so they won't be able to fire. Because
We'll be able to move once and then fire.
they will, but they might not be in range to charge if they do that. So you probably better just moving these up.
Yeah.
This is what I'd do.
Yeah.
Move them up, fire, charge, provided he is within 10 inches. Because if he isn't, he can't do it anyway. Then if he's not, to be honest, mate, I'd charge that column, regardless. Even if I can't shoot it, I would move everything into it and just charge
it anyway.
Because otherwise it's going to hit you like a brick.
And I'm dead.
And then over there, you're just going to shoot the guard.
They're going to stay still. Shoot the guard.
But now you're going to roll a double 6 on your orders anyway,
No,
so it doesn't really matter.
It's not going to happen.
It's all irrelevant.
Come on, Australian 6 me. There you go.
Okay, so this is where that new rule would have come in handy that we've just made up.
Intercepting
Yeah, I
orders.
made you re-roll that one. Yeah. Right, so we're going to do the movement and stuff and shooting off camera. Just save a bit of time and then we'll get back to you. Oh, that didn't go particularly well for the French. The British charged in, they got a flank attack with these guys. And the combat was really close in the end. What was it, 12-11?
You lost by
Casualties, so I lost by 1. They rolled an 8 and they needed a 7, so we're going to run away. I re-rolled it and rolled a 9, so they definitely ran away. But unfortunately the British couldn't capture them.
With a reroll.
Even with a re-roll. So I will have a chance to rally these when I activate them. My general's just there, so hopefully I can bring them back into game. These choose not to pursue because that is the British primary objective. So they just stood there, and I'm hoping I can get some cavalry into their flank or something. We shall see. But anyway, it's my turn to activate something. I don't think I'm going to activate the infantry, but I might do because I might want to charge over there before I get peppered by howitzers. So yeah, I'll decide what I'm going to do and I will get back to you in 1 second. So it's my turn. I've decided I'm going to activate this unit of light cavalry. I'm going to move them forward and then reform, and they're going to use one of their shooting actions to charge the flank of the British. The reason I'm going to do that is because if I fail to rally this brigade, next turn, next turn, Ty will just be able to charge them and wipe them out, and that'll be practically half my army gone. So we're going to try and order them, so I need an 8 or less. Oh, for God's sake, I'm going to use my general's reroll. He's got 2, so he's got 1 left now.
Almost.
Right, so if you could, because I'm holding the camera, could you move them 7 and then reform into a line just there?
You've got plenty of movement to do that.
So I'm going to show this on camera because this unit isn't in square.
Reform into a line.
So yeah. So I'm going to so Ty is now going to attempt, before I charge in, to form a rally square. So normally to form square, it's just a reform, so you pass your order in to form square. You can re-roll one of them 6.
Yes, good point.
You can use a general's re-roll, so he's got a 6, he needs a 1 or a 2.
Hey.
Or does he? I know it's -3, so you couldn't possibly do it, so don't waste your re-roll.
Was it -3?
Yeah. Because form a rally square. Normally form a square is you basic leadership.
Yeah.
When you're about to be charged, it's a bit more difficult because you're under pressure.
Oh, right.
So it's -3. So you've failed spectacularly. So that unit is going to get wiped out. So if you remove them from play.
Yes.
And then these would move forward 7 and they're going to reform. They're going to reform slightly, so they're going to try and hit. If I get first turn, I can hit them. If not, then I dare say you'll be forming square. But it's your turn to pick a unit now. Everybody else has done everything, haven't they? So you've got your guns and you've got your. They fired at me guard and killed 2 bases.
Did they do that this turn?
Yeah, they've already done it. So you've got your guns. You've got your cavalry.
I'm thinking.
We're gonna come back to you at the end of this turn now. I just wanted to show you that there, just in case Ty managed to get into rally square, but unluckily, so sad.
-3.
He didn't manage.
Not able to pass.
Yeah, 5s.
Oh, that's mathematics.
That's mathematics, that is. Not like this. Right, I'll get back to you in a bit. That was a bit of a brutal turn. This combat over here, the British lost by 1 but managed to pass their morale test. We both backed off 1 inch. The guns are untouched at the minute. These guys are running away, so they'll have to be trying to be rallied. They basically got shot to death by the French. That's a unit of cavalry that wiped out that infantry unit. These guys managed to rally, so they're back in the fight now. Over here, the British heavy cavalry not really done a lot. They've stopped me getting that objective.
It's a big sacrifice over there.
But yeah, it's costly because there's a lot of points in that heavy cavalry. But you know, that's because Ty's never played Napoleonics before, so maybe could have played that a bit differently. I suppose I could have helped, but that's that competitive nature of life coming out. So that's that. I'll just do a quick overview if I can. There you go, what's left on the battlefield. And we will play out next turn, and then I'll do another summary at the end. But that was a really, really brutal turn. The British got pounded. So yeah, see you in a bit. So, at the end of that turn, the Guard got into combat with that unit. It formed square to try and stop it being charged by the cavalry, but Yeah, I got lucky. I charged in, didn't get too down. I only took 1 wound from combat, got really lucky, and I managed to make them run away. That unit there has been shot to death and gone. These are still in square. My light cavalry are trying to tease the heavy dragoons away from objective 2, which is my primary. I kind of need to get hold of that primary to win the game, because at the minute Ty's still winning on victory points. We'll top them up at the end of the game, but we've got 1 more turn to play, so we'll see how it goes.
There's not a lot left.
There's not a lot left. I could do with them not rallying and get my Guardians combat, and then I can capture them colours, and that might turn it round, because nobody's captured any colours yet.
Do they
all
test on the
deaths.
general's leadership unmodified?
Yes, so it's leadership 9, so they're probably going to rally.
Pass.
So anyway, that's the end of this turn. I will do a summary and then an end of game, and I will catch you momentarily. So, end of the game. Over here we managed to wipe out pretty much everything. The guy got took out by his general who did a heroic charge, but unfortunately for him the cavalry wiped him out. That gave me the British colours, and that turned out to be the turning point. In the centre here, I just camped on that objective to stop his heavy cavalry coming across. Although we knew it was the last turn, but that's what I would have done anyway. I probably would have moved them so they're right over the centre of it, but anyway. So these guys are just stood about here. So I thought I'd need this objective, and Ty moved this cavalry round, tried to block me getting through this gap so I couldn't get to it that side. So I just went to the other side of the rocks that were there, but we've just moved them for measuring, and I'm about, what, quarter of an inch?
Yeah.
Quarter of an inch out, so I couldn't quite claim this objective. So at the end of the game, Ty scored 8 victory points and I scored 9. So it all came down to capturing them colours. And if I hadn't captured that, it'd have been a draw. It was a very close game. Even though the British took a real pounding, they did well on the objectives. And that's what it's all about. It's all about capturing the objectives. So anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And I will catch you all in the next video.